So this video is on the EU referendum and the Brexit campaign, and if you want to see more information on this topic, then it's on my WordPress article online. If you search LukeMorton1.wordpress.com, it should come up, and also there's other articles on there on loads of other topics that may interest you. So with this topic, I have been around a lot of people in recent months on the campaign in the lead up to it. I've had a sixth form internal referendum where we had to listen to a vote and a leave campaigner, and then we had a vote afterwards, and the outcome was to remain, but obviously this wasn't the actual result. But it was gave me an insight into both sides, and it made me have a better informed decision about what I thought. And also I went to a public speaking event with James Wow, the BBC radio broadcaster, where he shared his opinion as well as other like-minded people, and gave me hard evidence on political views, and gave me a good idea of what the right and wrong things were about the debates. So in the lead up to the debates, you must have seen a lot of those vote leave boards when you're driving or out and about, and I must admit you never see those vote remain boards. It was always those big red vote leave boards, and maybe that was the reason why in the end people did vote this. But I do think people were definitely misled, and I think I was as well, because you saw those big red vans saying 350 million going to the NHS, and this was obviously misleading, and people thought that this money wouldn't have to go to the EU, and it would go into our NHS, but actually that figure wasn't true, and it was not a surprise now that a lot of political leaders have stepped down from their positions, which is quite worrying really. And now we have to face the reality of obviously leaving, and we don't know if we're going to have to suffer the bad consequences or reap the rewards of it, and obviously we're going into the unknown. But there was talk of a second referendum, but that's not going to happen now, I don't think, because the new Prime Minister, Theresa May, has said that this won't happen. But I would say there are some benefits to leaving, and it all started off with this quote from Winston Churchill that I found, and he said the following: "We are with Europe, but not of it. We are linked, but not compromised. We are interested and associated, but not absorbed. We have our own dream and our own task." And basically he's saying here that we want to remain independent, but we do have links with Europe, and we will help each other out in times of need, such as security. And people say that now that we've left, we're either less secure or more secure. But they'd say we're less secure because we can't share data and stuff with the EU, and because we've left. But other people will say that we're more secure because we're independent and we can make our own ways and regulations of doing things, and that we're separate from the Europe, so we've got our own identity, and it reduced terrorist attacks, for instance, on our country. But I believe that the security is strengthened because this association with Europe isn't made, and we will still obviously help them out, but obviously it's a key issue for us to sort out, and it starts with the immigration being reduced, and the EU law states that we cannot stop people from coming over to this country and living here, but obviously now we've left we can stop that, and I think that will lead to a reduction in terrorist attacks. And also I think our wages will go up as well, because certain workplace regulations were imposed on us, whereas now we have our own ways of doing things, and we can do our own regulations, which means that we can pay people more, which will encourage more people to work harder and work longer, which is good all round. Obviously some people think that businesses will go back to Europe and move their headquarters from here back to Europe, and obviously this could happen because nobody knows what is going to happen ultimately, and obviously it's something no one's ever done before. I mean, no country's ever left the EU before, so it is a big gamble, but it's something I've said here: in life you must take risks in order to succeed, and if you want to do anything, sometimes it might lead to success or failure, but normally if the success can pay off, it will normally be big benefits, and I think that eventually all the countries probably will leave the EU, and whether this would lead to every country eventually being against each other, leading to a World War III or something, I don't know. And as I said, it's definitely something a lot of people say it's going into the unknown, but I do believe that it's what made Britain great originally, is being independent and doing things our way. And I do think it is a turning point in political history. And no matter what Scotland or Ireland decide to do, if they do have a referendum to leave and then they go and rejoin the EU, that's up to them. And obviously, we just do our own thing. And to finish off, really, I found this quote from Albert Einstein, who said, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." And I think there is a big opportunity for us to keep growing. And obviously, we have to deal with what we have and we have left, and that will be what will happen. And I think that the three things that will improve is immigration, jobs, and security of the country ultimately, as well as many other things as well. But if you want to have a look in more detail into what I've said, I've done my WordPress article online which goes into a bit more detail with a sense of humour to it as well. It's not too long, so it's quite an easy read, but it just outlines the key issues to what I think is right and wrong, and what the benefits and the consequences are of leaving. But I do think that we were right to leave, even though it's a bit of the unknown. There were a lot of misleading facts and evidence, but I think that we should be independent, and that's what will make us stronger and grow even more into the future. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to listen to more videos coming up soon. Thank you.